There's 2 football games left in USC's season, and they're already facing questions about 2026? Really? There is a glimmer of hope for the Clippers. You just have to look for it. And there's a reason why Trojans basketball is 7-0. Good morning. I'm James. And this is your daily dose of sports and snark for the greatest sports city in the world, Los Angeles. This is the Faithful Angelenos Morning Report. It is November 28, 2025. At long last, welcome back to the home office. Hey, do you like being in the know about LA sports? Well, if you do, clickety-clack the like button. Clickety-clack the subscribe button. There's a notification bell. Hit that. It'll let you know when we drop an update. Sharing is caring. Let people know we exist. By all means, comment. Now, we have a quick look at the scoreboard to start because there were no games involving LA teams yesterday. But today, Dallas is at the Lakers at 7 o'clock. Memphis at the Clippers, also at 7. And the Kings are going to be playing at Anaheim at 1 o'clock as well. So, with that out of the way, what do you say we get to the news? Because I admit I was reading the LA Times this morning and asking myself something a little bit more vulgar than what the hell. I read a lot of their USC coverage with suspicion now. And it's not that the Times hates USC as much as it is that they want to do whatever they can to stir up drama for Lincoln Riley. And we have described why that's the case for such a long time. No reason to revisit that. I'm saying that despite the fact that the Trojans have a rivalry game with USC tomorrow, not to mention a bowl game and a chance at a double-digit win season, here's a question that nobody but the LA Times thought to ask. Hey, who's going to play quarterback next year? What? Now, understand, that's not a horrible question to ask at the end of the season, nor is it a horrible question to ask during the transfer portal. Why now? I mean, I realize UCLA has been an abomination, nothing but an afterthought to the Times, but you ask it now? Really? Well, let's put aside their animus for Riley for a moment. I'll at least give you the thought process because it's not a bad question. It's just an idiotically timed question. Here's the thought process. Jaden Mayava, not exactly a Heisman candidate, but he's played mostly really damn good football. Pro Football Focus, or PIF, thinks he's the 5th best draft eligible quarterback. Maybe he stays in LA to boost his resume, become the number 1 overall pick, right? If that happens, though, does 5-star recruit Husan Longstreet bolt? You see, you might recall Longstreet was a hell of a get for USC late in the recruiting process last year after Julian Lewis reneged and went to Colorado. At USC, freshman receiver Tanook Hines, who, by the way, he's going to get a ton of playing time next year. He's been nails. Hines loves Longstreet, calls him a machine, claims the dude could throw the ball 80 yards, then turn around and run 4.3 in the 40. There's a lineman who says Longstreet is, quote, destined for greatness, unquote. Now, Riley, for his part, didn't act like next year was a totally stupid question. Lord knows he faced enough stupid questions about college game day signs last week. But he did sound like keeping the status quo would be ideal. For example, he said Mayava was still learning. Now, as for Longstreet, Riley pointed to his history with quarterbacks from Oklahoma. Quote, other than Jalen Hurts, we haven't had any quarterback that's come in and was the guy right away. Every one of them, all the guys that did the things, they had all the time. If you ask them now, they're all damn happy they had time and it made a big difference. Because when it became their time, they were ready, unquote. So I'm not claiming I have the answer. I'm not privy to the inner sanctum of Jade Mayava's camp, Longstreet's camp. I'm damn sure not in the coaching office. But I know two things. One, I wouldn't have asked this question prior to a rivalry game. There's a lot more questions that are more relevant. And then two, if Hussein Longstreet does decide to leave, he should know that Julian Lewis is currently standing testicles deep in the snow, watching a 3-8 Colorado Buffalo team. I'm not saying Longstreet is even thinking about leaving. The Times isn't even claiming Longstreet is thinking about leaving. But be careful what you decide. Ask Malachi Nelson how his career turned out once he decided to leave USC. That's a Google search that'll take about 20 minutes to figure out what happened to his career. It was obviously a holiday yesterday. We can put away all the cliches aside about Thanksgiving and focus on our cliches for Christmas in a moment. But when the holidays come around, the sports writers absolutely have to scrape the bottom of the barrel. One scribe actually claimed that the Lakers were excited for the opportunity to win the NBA Cup, and that's when I knew if I kept reading this psycho freaking bullcrap, I'd vomit everything I'd eaten. But, so we're going to go in a different direction. I want to take a moment and look at both the Lakers and the Clippers and give you a thing or two to consider about both of these teams. If you're a fan of the Clippers for longer than a year, you know how seriously the team takes playing the Lakers. Clippers coach Ty Lue beat the team that he once played for 11 consecutive times. They were 13-3 against the franchise that average basketball fans see as LA's team. And now the Lakers are killing it. Right? Why? Luka Doncic happened. The Lakers have flipped the script. Take Tuesday's beatdown. Lakers 135, Clippers 118. Both teams, you could say, have a quote-unquote big three. The Lakers have Doncic, LeBron James, and Austin Reeves. They outscored James Harden, Kawhi Leonard, and Ivica Zubac 99-58. Game over. But then you look under the hood. And if you're a Clippers fan, maybe there is a glimmer of hope. And I'm not saying this to be snarky. I mean it. Last year's Clippers team was third on defense. Now they're the third worst. The Clippers, again, defensive first, right? They hired Jeff Van Gundy not as somebody to make Ty Lue worry about his job security. The guy's a defensive mastermind. So, where can the Clippers improve their defense? Glad you asked. Leonard is a two-time Defensive Player of the Year, but since he has returned from injury this year, they haven't even put Leonard up on the opponent's best offensive guy. Against Cleveland, Leonard's first game back from an injury, Leonard didn't go against Donovan Mitchell. He went against the number 2 scorer. Against the Lakers, Leonard wasn't matched with Luka Doncic. He was matched up against LeBron James. Check the tape. So, Mitchell goes bananas, scores 37 for Cleveland. Doncic, 43 for the Lakers. So what do we conclude from that? They're trying to work Leonard back in gradually. The Clippers right now are obviously terrible, but I will give them this. A couple of years ago, I was giving the Lakers the benefit of the doubt because they had a rookie defensive coach in Darvin Ham. They were absolute trash. They were a total dumpster fire, roadkill at the beginning of the season, and then they made the Western Conference Finals. Now, I'm not predicting the same thing's going to happen for the Clippers. What I am saying is let's not make Intuit Arena a crypt just yet. Take a step back. Let history be our guide. Then you're sitting there going, okay, well, what's working with the Lakers? I'm going to give you yet another LeBron update as to how he's fitting into the offense. So again, here's a disclaimer. 3 games with LeBron James is a small sample size. There is an outfit that started to track player dribbling in 2013. I know, somebody thought tracking that would be profitable. Who am I? Either way, since 2013, James has never averaged fewer than 3.5 dribbles per possession in a season. Until now. From 3.5 to 1.5. What I see happening, because I took a second look at the Lakers-Clippers game, for many years, there's LeBron dribbling up the court, right? So he looks around the court, finds a mismatch, sees somebody he can take to the hoop. He summons his own teammate with that defender over. They run a pick and roll. All of a sudden, voila, James has somebody that he could bully in a mismatched path to the basket. In other words, James would be creating his own shot. Time and time again. Now, well, according to the same analytics nerds, James used to create his own shot 56 to 77% of the time. This season, the double team is going to either Doncic or Reeves. Then, playing off the ball, James is making the cut to the hoop. In other words, James is creating his shot from 77% of the time down to 40. And there's a ton more flow. Now again, not claiming that that's going to last long term, LeBron James does have an ego. But keep it in mind. Speaking of USC, and speaking of basketball, for years, I don't know about you, I would just take like a little bit of a peek at the Maui Invitational and I would think the same thing. This sucks. All those ugly floral shirts, playing in a junior college gym in front of a bunch of drunk Hawaiians. Who cares, right? I don't even know if you get more than a ukulele and a tub of poi when you win the Maui Invitational. But I watched closely this year because I read so much on how USC basketball changed its roster, and I couldn't tell you if they were any good. Trojans are 7-0. I still couldn't tell you if they were any good. So what I did do was I watched USC basketball for 3 consecutive days, and here's what I can tell you. They're tall. Really freaking tall, guys. Genghis Khan rampaging through China, tall. Mick Fleetwood dating Stevie Nicks, tall. As much time as I spend breaking down strategies on whiteboards, talking about these arcane analytics bullcrap, basketball is still a game where height makes right, and USC is tall. Super effing tall. Amarian Dickerson, for example, is a 6'7" guard. Chad Baker Mazzara is a 6'7" guard. Rodney Rice is a 6'5" guard. What is the average height of an NBA guard, you ask? 6'2". The average height for USC's basketball team last year was 6'7". Now, if 6'5" is the baseline, if you watched any USC basketball last year, and I did, my condolences, they were constantly getting killed in the post. You got the ball in the lane, you had an automatic 2. They were getting killed on the boards. In the Maui tournament, the Trojans out-rebounded Seton Hall 35-21. They out-rebounded Arizona State 32-21. In other words, we could talk dribble numbers, we could diagram plays, we could do this as much as they want. The bottom line is this: USC's chance to win specifically resides in looking down and just pummeling their opponents. Straight and simple. But you let me know what you think in the comments thread. Talk to me about what you see for USC football next year. For that matter, Do you believe there's a glimmer of hope for the Clippers? And if you enjoy this update, don't forget to subscribe to Faithful Angelenos. We're talking LA sports every single day. Thank you for watching. I'm James, and we'll be back tomorrow. Faithful Angelenos is a Kian Corte El Queso production. Take care.